Laserbeak, kill them all. With pleasure.
Yo, what's going on, guys? It's your boy Say here. Let's get right into it. Nice. Okay, and here we have Transformers Dark of the Moon Laserbeak. Not to be confused with the version that I built for my Transformers Dark of the Moon Soundwave though, because that one was way smaller since it was built to scale. This one, however, is about 4 inches from head to toe and about 12 inches from wing to wing. And just for a final size comparison, here he is next to a minifigure. Now, I decided to do this review real quick because I'm actually going to be having the instructions for Laserbeak here available on Rebrickable for about $2. So if you guys are interested in purchasing those instructions, the link to my Rebrickable page will be in the description. And on top of that, I've also got some instructions for some of my other smaller mocks such as Ravage and Steeljaw up there. Now, it took me about 5 to 6 hours to design this guy from scratch, despite the fact he's only about 5 inches. However, that's because I was building him from scratch. If you decide to purchase the instructions, it should only take you about an hour or 2 to build this guy. And really, the only thing you're gonna have to worry about in terms of difficulty when it comes to building this guy is just the body itself. The legs, the neck, the head, the wings, and the tail are actually the easiest parts. However, the body itself is a little bit intricate because it's composed of a bunch of brackets and clip pieces that are angled in different directions. So make sure you pay close attention when building that part. In terms of stability, this guy is a little wobbly just due to the weight of the wings and the way they're positioned on his back. So you're gonna have to play with the articulation within the wings there and the tail to get him to stand upright. However, he can stand upright without the help of any additional supports. And there's also a clip on the bottom of his torso that you can tap some bricks like these into to make it look as though he's flying. Now, I think the 2 coolest parts of this build are the head sculpt and the red circular translucent pieces on the underside of his wings here that are used to represent flames. But we've also got some other details, such as the spikes on the front portion of the wings here, the spikes continuing down his back and ending off at the tail here, and just the red translucent pieces that shine through the vents on the side of his torso and his talons here. Because for those of you that don't know, Laserbeak is actually supposed to be a Cybertronian vulture in that Transformers Dark of the Moon movie. So all of these little details like spikes and flames really just add to that scary, decrepit look that they were trying to give him in that movie. Oh! Now, just as a side note, before we get into the articulation, if you guys are interested in seeing that Transformers Dark of the Moon Soundwave build, I'll leave the link to that at the end of this video. And if you too build Lego Transformers or Lego Mechs, you should definitely pop into my Lego Mech Facebook group and share your work. Now, in the movie, Laserbeak is actually supposed to transform into a high-tech printer and a TV. However, I don't usually make my smaller Transformers transform, so I was able to focus all of my efforts into just making sure Laserbeak is really detailed and has really good articulation. So let's get right into it. So Laserbeak here has actually got a good amount of articulation within his tail because they're connected at every point via ball joints. So even though there's a bunch of details built into the tail here with the spikes and everything, they don't actually hinder the articulation at all because the ball joints allow for such a wide range of motion. As for the neck and head here, they're connected via 1x1 clip pieces, so this allows them to move up and down. However, due to the fact that it's 1x1 clip pieces, there's actually some slight movement to the left and to the right if you rotate the pieces along the single joint like this. Next up, we've got the legs, which are attached at the hip via ball joints, so we've got some swivel action going on in the hip area there because of that. As for the rest of the leg, it's attached via 1x1 clip pieces, so it can really only move up and down. However, we do have some movement in the feet at the ankle here and some movement of the toes if you swivel them along the 1x2 circle plate here. And lastly, we've just got the wings, which are attached via ball joints at both sections here. So you get a good amount of articulation out of this cylindrical looking portion of the wing. And you also get a good amount of articulation from the spiky part at the end here. Now, unfortunately, due to the way in which the cylindrical section of the wing here attaches to the ball joint, it's actually very fragile. So just be careful when rotating or articulating that portion of the wing, because it tends to snap off a lot at this point, and because it's a circle, it couldn't really be reinforced the way I would have liked to. However, all things considered, this is still a really good display model that can hit some really cool poses.